In this tutorial, we're going to be adding a pop-up modal that gives the customer details about shipping deadlines. We'll start by engaging the visual editor by clicking Edit, and then I'm going to go into the hierarchy. The header is a good container to add this to because it'll be contained on all the pages in case they land on the site from a search engine. So I'm going to go ahead and start by adding a modal, a standard modal, and I'll call this holiday ship modal, and I can go ahead and display that. You see it right there. And let's go ahead and edit some of the settings. I like to do an underlay, so I will just choose the underlay color. That way it stands out. I'm going to go ahead and shrink it. Okay, now within the modal itself, we're going to lay out some content. I'm going to go ahead and start with a row up at the top, and I'm going to go ahead and make this a 3-column row. Inside the center column, I'm going to put some text, and then in the outer columns I'm going to put some the button to close it. So I'm going to get rid of all the unnecessary margin and padding with the 0 tool, and I'm going to adjust the sizes down. Alright. In the center column, I'm going to add a headline. And it'll be last days to ship for December 24th delivery. Let's be a little festive with this. So we'll set this to be red, and also choose a H1. That'll get it nice and bold. We'll come back, we're going to add a close button here, but let's stub out the rest of the content. We'll add another row below, 1 column wide, and then let's see, I'm going to do a text block, and in this text block we'll put the notice about ground shipping. And since that's no longer guaranteed, I'm going to make that red as well. And then I'll do a second text block. For the other colors, from the other options. And we'll make that a festive green color. Alright. And then as the days transpire, you may want to move the text up from one to the other so it goes from green to red. Okay. Also going to change this font weight to be bold. And now underneath here we're going to wire up that close button. I like to get rid of the text. Pick the X icon. Style none. nice little tight X icon. Now you'll notice this hide permanently action is what we're going to use, and we're going to tell it to hide the modal. That way they'll see it one time for the customer, and that way it won't bug them on each page. And I'll keep track of that with some session storage. And then the last thing we have to do is make the modal actually pop up on trigger. Let's see here, modal, yep. So we will have this pop up 1 second after page load. And we're actually going to change this from page load to visitor. That way it'll pop once on them as well, even though we have that hide permanently. Okay, let's go ahead and open up our preview window. Alright, we have a nice modal. We can close it. Looks good. Tablet. Our hide once is kicking in there. So for debug, let's change this to page load real quick. There we go. Make a little bit of adjustment here. Since we have this big piece of text, I'm going to use a fluid font. So I'm going to go from 16 to 20. That way it gets a little smaller on mobile. I'm going to get rid of default margin. That over. Okay. Final thing we're going to do is take that modal and set it back to once per visitor. So if they close their browser and they come back the next day, per visit I should say, they'll see it again. And save. That will conclude this tutorial.